Okay, so softening down into your mat or grabbing props if you want to, as much as you can, finding softness into the spine and softness into head, neck, shoulders. So letting the belly relax down into the thighs or toward the floor, letting the head hang down, or maybe grab block or pillow to rest the third eye. And first, just taking a moment to notice the breath here in this shape, movement of the belly or chest, side body or back body. And then beginning that process of gently deepening and expanding into your breath. A little more fullness to the inhale, a little more length to the exhale. As much as is comfortable, letting each cycle get just a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. Taking one more breath here and then waiting for your inhale. We'll activate the palms, press into the palms. Inhale to lift up to tabletop. Scoot any props out of the way. Bring the knees in line with the hips. Taking a brief moment, just find your foundation in your tabletop and then flowing right into cat-cow, using that exhale to lower the crown of the head, lower the tailbone, stretch across the shoulder blades. Inhale to lower the belly, open the heart. Continuing with that really full, expansive inhale and slow exhale. Taking one more, each direction. And after that, last one, settling back, tabletop. Again, taking a moment, just finding your foundation in your table, taking a deep inhale to prepare, and then flowing right into your side bends, lateral flexion, using the exhale to bring head, hips, foot out to one side, glance at your foot. Inhale to neutral, exhale to side bend. Taking one or two more, finding symmetry. And back in tabletop, grounding through both palms and left shin. Slide the right toes back behind you. Bring that right leg all the way out to the right side. Flip your toes to point toward the top of your mat. And with your breath, coming right into your twisting flow. Inhaling to open the heart toward the right leg, float the hand overhead. Exhale as you come down, letting the hand touch back to its original position or briefly reach under left arm. Inhaling, twist open. Exhaling, twist close. Taking one more inhale, twist open. Exhale, bring the hand back under the shoulder, keeping the right sole of the foot flat to the earth. Press into the hands. Let the left hip reach a little closer to the left heel. Slow lifting back up, shoulders over wrists. Slide that right foot back in line with the hip, and then we'll lift the whole leg so it's more or less parallel to your floor. Point your right toe, and then start to take that toe, and with movement coming from your hip joint, draw some little circles in the air. Start to make those circles a little bigger. And switch directions. Pause, take that leg back behind the hip again. Bend the knee, point the sole of the foot to the ceiling. Lift the sole of the foot a little higher, take a little bend into the elbows. Lower the belly, open the sternum, open the throat. Lift that foot even a little bit higher. A little bit higher. And bring that knee all the way back down under the hip. Find your long neutral spine. Take a big inhale in tabletop. Exhale, press up to cat stretch. Inhale, lower the belly, cow. And finding your way back to tabletop. Slide the left toes back behind. Bring them all the way out to the side. Turn toes toward the top of the mat. And with your breath, starting twisting flow. Inhaling to turn open, lift the left fingers. Exhaling to twist closed. Taking one more inhale to lift. Exhale, hand under the shoulder. Press into both hands. Start to reach that right hip a little closer to left heel, keeping the left sole of the foot flat. Slow lifting back up, shoulders over wrists, slide the left foot back in line with the hip, bend the knee, point the sole of the foot to the ceiling. Just kidding, send your knee long, point your toe back behind you. Take that leg, make some little circles in the air, leading with the toe, but movement coming from the hip joint. Make those circles a little bigger. Switch directions. And pause. Now bend the knee, point the sole of the foot to the ceiling. Lift that leg a little higher. Take a little bend into the elbows. Lower the belly. Lift the throat. Lift the crown of the head. And lower the knee back down. So you find your way back to neutral spine, tabletop. Take a big inhale. Exhale, press up, cat stretch. Inhale, lower the belly, open the heart, cow. And flowing back through table, slide the hands out a couple inches, tuck the toes, lift the tailbone, find your downward facing dog. And for a moment, just breathe deeply as you slow pedal the feet, stretching one calf and then the other. And then finding stillness in downward facing dog. Ground through both palms, ball of the left foot. Inhale to send your right leg back behind you, finding a tail of the dog or three-leg dog, and let your pelvis open up to the right just a little bit. Really reaching through your right toes. Imagine pulling that foot away from the crown of the head. And then bend your right knee, let your foot fall behind you. Now take that knee that's in the air, start to draw some circles. Switch directions. And pause, reach that leg long again, hips slightly open to the right, pulling through the toe. Bring that foot back down to meet the left. Take a few deep breaths, slow pedal the feet. And find stillness. Feel that support in the right foot. Inhale the left leg back. Go ahead and let those hips open up to the left a little bit. Reach, reach, reach through the toes. Bend the knee. Let the heels start to fall behind. Take that knee that's in the air. Big circles one direction. Switch directions. Pause, extend that leg, reach it long. Foot comes back down to meet the right, slow pedal the feet. Find stillness. Slow lower knees down onto the mat. Slide the hands out a little bit. We're going to move through half plank, come down onto our bellies. So come down in whatever way works for you, feels good. And then using that low back, lift the heart, lift the throat, lift the crown of the head. Find your cobra. Keep the fingers light for a moment. And then press into those palms, slide your hands out. Forearms connected, elbows under shoulders, nice wide fingertips. Press down into the floor, pull your hands back toward your hips. See if you could find more length, and imagine that length is not only coming starting from the low ribs, but it's coming all the way down to low belly, pelvis, hips. Pressing into the hands, drawing them toward you. Find a little more length. Starting to slow, lower head, neck, shoulders, relaxing the pressure to the palms and forearms a little bit. Slide the hands back under the shoulder joint. Press into the hands, lift through a half plank. Lift yourself to tabletop. Bring the hands back in line with the shoulders. Take a big inhale in table. Exhale, round the spine, cat stretch. Inhale, lower the belly, open the heart. And find your tabletop. Slide the hands out a little forward of the shoulder, tuck the toes, float the tailbone. Find your down dog. Grounding through the sole of the left foot. Sweep your right leg back again. Tail of the dog. Waiting for your next exhale. Use that exhale to start to step the foot forward toward the hands. Use that right hand to help bring it forward. So we bring knee, ankle right under knee. There we go. And then we'll lower the left knee. Untuck the toe. Sweep the hands up overhead. And then imagine you're really going to let your hips sink nice and heavy toward your floor. Maybe scoot your right foot a little closer to the top of your mat. And then as we imagined in our cobra pose, stretching through the whole front line of the body. Interlace your fingers, release just the index finger. Reach that index finger up toward the ceiling, and then back bend. Imagine stretching not just chest, shoulders, and upper abs, but all the way down into the front of the pelvis, low belly, hips. Starting to lift the hands, lift back to neutral spine. Unlace the fingers, bring the hands down to frame that front foot. We're moving toward lizard, so right foot's gonna come out to the right side of the mat, and maybe we're up on tented fingers or down on palms, and then we'll let that right knee start to fall out to the right side. If you would like here, you can also tuck your left toe and float your knee. If you're lifted in that back knee, go ahead and lower down. Starting to draw the right knee back in. Heel toe that foot back in line with the hip, and then we'll rock the hips back and forth a few times on the mat. So just slowly dropping hips toward left heel and then forward toward your low lunge. And either stopping halfway between those two, transitioning back through tabletop to come to your downward facing dog, or all the way forward, plant the hands, tuck the left toe, float the knee, pull the right leg all the way back, three-legged dog. And downward facing dog, pause, slow pedal the feet. And coming to stillness, feel that foundation in, right toes and ball of the foot, left leg rises. Using an exhale, step that foot forward. Find what works for you to bring that ankle forward under the knee. Lower right knee, untuck toe. Bringing the hands up overhead, and again, just thinking about letting those hips sink really heavy toward the earth. Maybe left foot slides a little further forward. And then interlace fingers. Notice which thumb is on top. Release, switch, relace. Release that index finger. Inhale to create some length. Exhale, find that back bend, stretching front line of the body, sending the intention for the stretch all the way down into the low belly, front of the pelvis, right hip and hip flexors. Starting to lift your way back up. Unlace the fingers, bringing hands down to support yourself, flowing toward lizard. Left foot comes out to the left edge of the mat. Maybe on tented fingers, maybe on palms. Left knee falls off left side of the mat. Find stillness here. Or right toe tucks, knee floats. Lowering the back knee for a moment if it's lifted. Drawing that left knee in. Fingertips frame the foot for a moment, and we'll rock hips forward, backward on the mat. Pausing about halfway through to draw back to tabletop, or coming forward. Tuck the right toe, lift the knee, slide the left leg all the way back, tail the dog. Bringing that foot down to meet the right. Pause in that downward facing dog. Slow pedal the feet, breathing deeply. Lowering knees all the way down onto the mat. Bringing hands a little forward of the shoulder. Slow lowering down onto belly. Using the low back. Open the heart, open the crown of the head. Pausing in that cobra for a moment, creating that sense of length. And then firming up the palms, sliding them out. Nice wide finger pads, pressing down into the floor, pulling back toward your pelvis, pulling ears up away from shoulders, crown of the head away from ribs. Starting to bring head, neck, shoulders back down. Sliding hands under shoulders. Pressing into the earth, lifting up through half plank. Pull the hips back to tabletop. Bringing hands back under the shoulders. Big inhale. Exhale around the spine. Find your cat stretch. Inhale. Lower the belly, open the heart. And find your tabletop. Float those hands back out a little bit, tuck the toes, float the tailbone, downward facing dog. This time inhale, left leg rises. And wait for an exhale, step it forward toward the hands, coming back toward a low lunge, left foot forward. And we're gonna keep the hands low this time, and we'll come into our revolved low lunge. So right fingertips come to your block or your floor just inside the left foot, keeping that left thigh engaged to keep the knee in line with the ankle. Turn heart and belly to the left thigh. Taking a deep inhale here, exhale, turning the heart back down toward the floor. We'll find our half split or half monkey. So palms or fingertips frame the front foot or hands come to that front thigh. Glue that left sole of the foot to your mat. Rock your right hip back toward your right heel. And then with an exhale, lift the sole of the left foot. See if you could pull the right hip a little closer to the right heel. Soften head, neck, shoulders a little closer to left knee. Slowly walking your way forward, and once again, rocking the hips back and forth on the mat a few times. And then either transitioning through tabletop to come back to downward facing dog, or from low lunge, tucking the right foot, lifting the knee, left leg back through tail of the dog, then down dog. Waiting for an inhale, right leg rises. Exhale to bring it forward. As we bring the knee down the side, we're gonna keep that left hand down, fingertips or palm on block or floor, coming into your revolved lunge. Turning heart belly to the right, sliding the right hand to the hip or releasing it overhead. Waiting for an exhale to start to come back down. Moving toward our half split. So fingertips to the earth or hands resting on the thigh. Rocking the hips back, left hip reaching for left heel, right foot flat for a moment. And with an exhale, drawing back a little further, right toes lift, head softens toward right knee. Slow walking forward, a little bit of movement back and forth with the pelvis. And transitioning through tabletop to down dog or three-legged dog to down dog. Breathing deeply, slow pedal the feet. Take a big, big bend into the knees, belly toward thighs, bringing the gaze forward. Slow walk feet toward the top of the mat, forward fold, dangling down over the thighs, maybe letting the hands hang, or bringing fingertips to opposite elbows. Take a little side to side movement. Releasing hands back down toward the mat. If they're not there already, press into the feet to find half forward fold. Exhale to release. Inhale to come towards standing. Slow roll or circle sweep, whatever feels better. Finding your mountain. Inhaling, bringing the hands up overhead. Imagine that upward hands pose shape, but again, here we're interlace the fingers. Interlace everything except that index finger. Release the index finger up toward the ceiling. Reach through the crown of the head. Reach through the fingers. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, start to slowly stretch the front line of the body. Take a little back bend. Next inhale, we'll lift back to neutral. Use your exhale to go right into your side bend to the left. Inhaling, long neutral spine. Exhaling, side bend left. Next inhale, lift center. Exhale, opposite side. Next inhale will take you center. Exhale will find forward fold. Inhaling to lift, unlace the fingers. Exhale to dive. Soften down over the legs. Inhale, press into the feet to find half lift. Exhale to soften. Inhale to slow roll or circle sweep up. Bringing the hands overhead. Start to interlace the fingers. Notice which thumb wants to go on top. Switch, lace everything, but release that index finger. Find some length. With an exhale, slow lowering back, stretching front line of the body. Waiting for your next inhale to lift. Exhale will take you to the right. Inhaling, long neutral spine. Exhaling, side bend to the right, stretching left. Next inhale, lift. Exhale, opposite side. Next inhale, lift. Use your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half fold. And then soften the knees a little bit, soften the spine, reaching fingertips for the earth or planting palms, grounding through the left foot. We're gonna slide the right foot back for warrior one, bringing it about halfway back the mat. Connect the heel, toes pointed toward front right corner. Bringing those hands up overhead, left knee over ankle. And then take a moment here, imagine lengthening the tailbone a little closer to the earth, pulling those low ribs in. And then just notice if the hips are square and if you have any stretch in the front of the right hip and the right calf. And if you don't, see if you could keep the hips square and neutral, but bring your right foot just a little further back your mat, still keeping that back heel connected. And then sweep the hands around to the low back, keeping the legs just where they are. Interlace the fingers at the sacrum. Pull the hands toward the right heel, open through the heart. Then we're gonna keep the hands as they are. From here, transition right over to a pyramid. So starting to lift back to neutral spine, press into the left foot, straighten the knee, hinging from the hips, folding forward, and we're gonna let go of that neutral spine as soon as we start to come over. So softening the spine, letting the head melt down toward the left knee, letting the hands peel up away from the back as far as is comfortable. And then start to lift yourself back up toward warrior one, keeping the hands as they are. Hands help to lead. Pull back up through the torso, bend through the left knee. Find the top, take a little bit of a back bend, hands reaching down toward right heel. And lifting back through neutral spine, press into the left foot, straighten the knee, softening down. Head reaches for left knee, hands lift. And starting to lift your way back up, this time pause in your warrior one. So lift the spine, bend the knee, pull the hands back in, release the fingers, float the hands around. Take a big inhale here, use an exhale, bring the hands back down just in front of the left toes. Lift that right heel, slide that foot forward to meet the left. Forward fold. Take the fingertips to opposite elbows. Take a little side to side movement. Slow roll your way up to standing. Release the hands, find mountain. Inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. This time exhale, dive right over to forward fold. Inhale, find a half fold. Exhale, soften, ground through the sole of that right foot, slide the left leg back, find your warrior one. And again, as you come up, just imagine what we're looking for here is really opening through the front of the left hip. So how far apart could you scoot your feet? Still keep the hips reaching in the direction of square to the top of your mat, still keeping the tail gently pulling down toward the earth. And then floating the hands around to the low back, interlacing the fingers, drawing hands toward left heel, open the heart, stretching front body. And imagine one fluid movement taking you all the way over to a pyramid. Lifting the crown of the head, pressing into the right foot, straightening the knee, bowing over the right leg, then releasing the spine, dangling the head, arms reach away. Lifting all the way back to warrior one. Hands reaching toward that left heel, a little bit of a back bend. Pressing into the right foot to straighten the knee as you lift, bowing forward, pyramid. And lifting back this time, pause, find warrior one. Take a big inhale. Exhale, fingertips down just in front of the right foot, slide that left foot forward. Bring fingertips to opposite elbows. Take a little side to side movement. Slow roll your way up. And feeling into nice, firm foundation in mountain pose. First, equal weight between the 2 feet. And then we're going to bring weight over to our left leg. We're going to slide the right toes just behind us, and we're moving toward a dancer prep. So we're going to lift that right heel, lift it up toward the glute. If it's in reach, we're going to reach the fingertips back. Draw that heel in close to the bum, knees glued together, and if you've already got a bit of a stretch, we'll stay here. If you want to add a little more, floating the left arm out in front of you, and then pressing your right foot into your strap. Let the pressing of that foot into your strap or your hand start to fold you forward, taking a little bit of an arched spine here. And then starting to slowly come back to neutral, letting the knees meet. Left arm comes down, releasing fingertips or strap. Bring that foot down to meet the left. Pick up the left leg, give it a nice little shake. And switching your side for your strap. Grounding through the sole of the right foot. Left heel slides behind. Lift heel to glute. Hand or strap to foot.
Zip that inner line of the thigh together. Knees touch and we pause here, or right arm floats out. Press that left foot into hand or strap. I need that little bit of an arch to the low back. The foot pressing into the hand maybe takes us a little further forward. Slow release. Legs meet. Right arm comes in. Release hand or strap. Foot comes back to the mat. Pick up right leg, give it a nice little shake. And then again, coming back to nice firm foundation in left leg. This time we're gonna bring the right leg to the front of the body. So lifting bent knee up toward the belly. You could again use a strap here if that feels best. We're gonna take the right fingertips to the back of the right knee, bring left arm out as a counterbalance, and then open that knee out to the right side. And then notice when you did that, if this right hip tried to kind of crawl up into your armpit, if it did, we'll try to level the hips to the floor, letting that right leg open up as far as it will go without taking the whole pelvis with it. And then imagining really pressing firmly into the sole of the left foot, finding length and strength in the spine. And then slowly starting to guide that knee back in line with the hip. We'll release the hand. Slow, lower that foot back down to meet the left. Give your standing leg a little bit of a shake. And then finding foundation in right foot, left leg coming to the front. Lift the leg, fingertips to the back of the knee. Right arm comes out as our counterbalance. Your knee starts to come out to the side. Notice that point when it starts to try to take the rest of the body with it. We're gonna stop just before that point. Try to square hips to the floor. Press firmly into that right leg. Imagine growing long through the crown of the head. Slowly guiding that left knee back in line with the hip, bringing the right arm in, release that leg down to the floor, pick up the right leg, give it a little shake, and back in. Mountain pose, inhale, bring the hands up overhead, exhale, dive yourself over, forward fold. Inhale, find that half forward fold. And then soften to plant both hands. We're gonna step both legs back, come right down onto the knees. Find your tabletop. And then bringing the knees wide on the mat, letting the toes point toward one another. Reaching the hips toward the heels, stepping down onto forearms. And activating the palms, starting to lift back up toward tabletop. Then we're gonna come around to a seat. So bring your feet over to one side, hips over to your opposite side. Swing legs around. We'll bring tailbone right around to the center of our mat. Lean back just a little bit. Bring the heels about as wide as outer edge of the mat and take some slow windshield wipers side to side. And lifting the knees back up. We're gonna send the left leg out long and bring the right heel in toward the groin. So if you like to be up on a prop here, grab whatever you've got, blanket, pillow, send that left leg long, right heel in toward groin, lift. Find your long spine. Fingertips right to the floor in front of the right shin and starting to walk your way over into a nice, easy, rounded forward fold. So coming right into that soft spine, hands reaching or sliding away. Take a couple breaths, imagining heart melting a little closer to the space just in front of the right foot. And slow lifting your way back up, and then we're gonna take the left hand to the outer part of the right thigh. We're gonna gently pull on that thigh, bring ourselves into a little twist to the right. Right shoulder reaching back, heart opening in the direction of that right knee. And then starting to twist back towards center, release that hand, and we'll turn our heart all the way in the opposite direction. Heart turning toward your extended left foot, bringing hands onto the thigh or either side of the thigh, and starting to soften your head, neck, shoulders down toward your left leg. I like hands just resting on my thigh, but if you still have your strap in reach and you would like to, you could bring your strap around your foot instead. And lifting up just a little bit, just enough to create space to rotate the heart open toward the front of your space. Bring the left fingertips inside the left knee. Open that right shoulder so it's stacked over the left, and then press right hand down into right thigh. As you slide or walk your left fingers closer to your left foot, left armpit drawing toward left knee. Lifting the spine, sliding left hand back in. We're going to take the right hand to the floor just behind the right hip and lift up into a tripod. So either tented fingers or palm to the earth just behind the right glute. We're going to sweep the left arm across the front of the body. Press into right shin, left heel, lift everything else. Come all the way around into that back bend. Imagine you're stretching through the whole front line of the body. Top of the left foot, leg, hips, belly, shoulders, all the way through the left arm. And slow lowering back down. Bring that left arm all the way around. It's going to touch down behind the left glute. Bring your right heel out. Keep a bend into the knee. Slide your left heel in. Slow windshield wiper the legs. And lifting the knees up. Send the right heel long. Left heel coming in toward groin. Fingertips toward the space in front of left foot, softening through the spine, rounding down, hands, slide or walk away. Slow lifting back up. And first, briefly twisting opposite our extended leg. So right fingertips reach across for that left thigh. We pull on that thigh. Turn heart to the left, left shoulder reaching behind. Slow unwind back towards center, twisting heart in the opposite direction, resting the hands to the thigh, softening head, neck, shoulders toward right knee, or sliding hands out toward the foot, or grab a strap. And lifting up just a little bit, twisting the heart open to the front, left shoulder lifts, right arm inside right leg. We'll press left hand down into left thigh. Twist that left shoulder up over the right. Lifting the torso, right hand slides in. We'll bring left hand to the floor just behind the left glute. Press through right heel, left shin, lift everything else. Sweep the right arm around, find a back bend. Sweeping the arm back around, hips lower back down to the earth. Right hand comes all the way around behind right glute. Lean back a little, bring the left heel out, slide the right heel in, windshield wiper the legs. And then lifting the knees back up, we'll bring the soles of the feet toward one another, knees reaching out to the side. Find your seated bound angle. And then moving through two versions here. So first with a neutral spine, we'll find a few breaths and then softening over. So nice length in the spine, length from the crown of the head. Big inhale. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Drawing halfway forward. Take another big inhale here. Use your exhale, release, round through the spine, coming the rest of the way forward. Maybe hands scoop to outer edges of the feet or walk toward the top of your mat. Taking one more full exhale, fully releasing down, and then with an inhale, start to slow roll your way back up. And I can't see if you're on props. If you're on props like I am, go ahead, scoot your props out of the way. And we'll support ourselves coming all the way down onto our back. So bringing the knees in to meet, use your arms, support yourself. Coming all the way down and then pulling both knees into the belly for a moment. And then bringing the left sole of the foot down to your mat. Don't slide it all the way away so it's flat down on your mat, but slide it about halfway away. So sole of the foot is still on your mat. You have a little bend into that knee. And then bring the right hand to the right knee. Left hand can rest wherever's comfortable. We're just going to take this right knee and guide it in some circles in the air. It's comfortable. Make those circles a little bigger. Switch directions. And bringing that knee all the way back into the belly. Slide the left leg fully away so it's resting all the way down onto the mat. Take your left hand wherever it landed, press it down into the front of the left hip and bring the right fingertips to the back of the right knee. So as we did in standing, we're gonna start to open this leg out to the right side. And again, we're gonna notice at what point it starts to take the whole pelvis with it. We're gonna stop right before that point. You can use your elbow to support your leg as it comes over. Left hand is kind of helping us remember, keep that left glute heavy. And then start to lift that knee back up in line with the hip. We're gonna switch the places of our hands. So take the left fingertips to the back of the right knee, bring your right arm out to a T, and then with the right glute staying on your mat for a moment, first just guide that knee ever so slightly across center line. And then let that right leg take you all the way over to your spinal twist. Coming across midline, reaching out to the left. Again, you can use your elbow on the floor and your left hand to support your right knee, or you can bring it down onto a prop if you have one handy. And then take a moment to check in with that right shoulder. If it feels good, it can stay as it is. It can sweep in a little closer to the spine or bend the elbow, rest the hand up toward the waist. Gazing maybe to the ceiling or maybe out to the right. And thinking about gently drawing the navel in. So you're sort of pulling your lumbar spine back down toward the mat. And then keeping that low back pulled in and down, lifting that knee back up over the hip. We're gonna release that left hand, bring both knees back into the belly, squeeze both knees in, and then take a little roll across the low back or a wrap the length of the spine, or make some circles with both knees. And then finding stillness, right sole of the foot comes down. We're gonna slide it about halfway away, sole of the foot down, still a little bend into the knee. Left hand guides that left knee in some circles in the air. Make them as big as is comfortable. Switch directions. Bring that knee into the belly. Slide right leg all the way away. Left fingertips to the back of the left knee, right hand to the front of the right hip. Knee falls out to the side. Notice that point when the right side of the pelvis starts to feel light, or there's some space between the glute and the mat. We're gonna stop right before that point. Slow, lifting the leg back in line with the hip. Right fingertips to the back of the left knee, left arm out to a T. First, just trying to find that little subtle stretch to the hip or outer thigh. Left glute heavy, knee just across center line. And then letting that knee take you all the way over to your spinal twist, supporting that left knee, lower leg, foot in whatever way feels good. Checking in with the left shoulder, adjusting that arm as you like. Slow lifting that leg back up. Be mindful of the low back. Releasing the right hand, bending the right knee, sliding that leg into meet, bringing the knees to the belly. Take a little rock or roll on the low back. And then bringing the soles of both feet down to the mat. Heels drawn in close to the glutes, about a fist distance between the knees. Palms face down on either side of the hips, moving into bridge pose. Inhaling to prepare, pressing into the palms, pressing into the feet. First part of the exhale, lengthens tailbone toward heels. Keeping that sense of length in the spine. Slow peel up. Find the top of that bridge and then find a little more softness to the neck. Maybe find a little smile. And then see if you could press even a little more firmly into your feet and lift the hips a little higher. Take one more breath at the top. Slow lowering spine all the way back down onto the mat. Zipping inner line of the leg all the way together. Bringing the arms out a little wider and opening the knees out to a recline bound angle. Sliding the arms up overhead, fingertips point toward one another, elbows reaching out to the sides. Taking a few deep inhales, easy complete exhales. Imagine inviting a little more softness into the legs, into the hips, spine, fronts and backs of the shoulders, neck. And then fully softening and releasing into the breath. Sliding the legs together, reaching them long on the mat, reaching the fingertips overhead, and either fingertips just reaching away from your head, or if you like, interlace the fingers and flip the palms to face away from the crown of the head. Either way, just stretching all the way from toe to tip, stretching everything away from the navel. And then either relaxing from here right down into a Shavasana, or whatever posture you would like to enjoy for a moment of stillness, or if there's some other little movement or stretch or shape feels good to bring your practice to a close. Taking any last posture, asana, movement, vinyasa, breath, pranayama, and then softening fully down, letting go all the soft tissues, breath, thoughts, allowing your whole self a moment of true stillness. If distractions come up, maybe bringing yourself back to the sense of your physical self resting on your mat, or back to the sense of your breath coming and going. Bringing conscious awareness to the fingers and toes. Bringing movement back into the fingers, toes, to the wrists, ankles, circle the wrists, point flex at the ankles, and then maybe coming back to that full body stretch if that feels good, toe to tip, or maybe just taking a few more deep intentional breaths. And then eventually moving through your knees to chest pose. Slowly moving through fetal position to slow press up or rolling the length of the spine. Rock, roll up. Rooting down through the sit bones. Once again, feeling your gentle opposition, crown of head to tail. Softening the gaze, softening the shoulders, softening the breath. And taking that moment to just notice. Notice what comes up for you at the end of this practice. Better, worse, same, different. With the physical body, tissues, breath, maybe with thoughts or emotions, anything else that comes up for you here. And then as always, invitation to take anything that you might like off of your mat out into the rest of your day. Leaving anything that you don't need behind.